Meridia finds herself solely in charge of the defense of Rene, facing the full might of the Machine King, the Old City, and the monstrously powerful Freelanders among them. With her navy obliterated, her forces on the back foot, and an army of gifted warriors at her front door, does she have any chance at all? Well, let's break down Season 2, Chapter 35, The Night's Last Star, Part 1. But first, a message to our heroes of Edara. Hey there, this is Colin, creator of the 7th Valkyrie. If you're hearing this, it means you're listening to the public version of TABTA. And I really appreciate that. It keeps the algorithm happy, it keeps us growing. But if you want to get a little fun personal message every week with behind-the-scenes stories, funny little bits, other insight into the creative process, you can hop over to our Patreon and become a hero of Edara. You'll support the series, you can shape the future of the 7th Valkyrie, and find a whole lot of fun bonus content along the way. You can get started completely for free, and then if you decide you want to chip in and get bonus content, early access, and a whole lot more and help us along the path of heroes towards a whole lot of cool checkpoints, then you can do that. It's patreon.com/7th Valkyrie, that's 7THVALKYRIE, and give it a look. With that, on into the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TABTA, the adventure behind the adventure of the 7th Valkyrie, where we watch one series go from total obscurity to maybe 7 seasons in a movie, or maybe we just find the power of friendship along the way. I'm your host, Colin Sharp, creator and current voice of the 7th Valkyrie, and this week we are talking about Season 2, Chapter 35, The Night's Last Star, Part 1. Now, if you haven't heard this, the most recent episode, spoilers, hold up on it, we are going to get into it, and we're going to get into it deep. So if you haven't caught up, stop, go listen. But if you're here, let's rock and roll. And here we are. We're in the thick of battle. Meridia has taken command of the Edaran defense. And despite the Edaran's regimented military strategy and operations, no one was really prepared for it to get here. There are Freelanders beating on the gates. They're taking and razing the docks, and they've already sent the first 2 levels to the flame. They're pushing hard to continue. Fatalities are skyrocketing, and with unclear numbers of soldiers, resources, and even amounts that she can trust because she knows there are turncoats scattered among her soldiers, Meridia has to try to figure this all out and hold out long enough for an evacuation of civilians that they weren't ready for this. But one thing we've known from the very beginning of this season is that Meridia is smart. Going into Maine, so I used that. Got me using the accent. Meridia used to be the Edaran equivalent of a military detective or FBI, and she was tracking down criminal organizations, and figuring out, we've already seen that, unraveling this conspiracy to bring people from the Mandarian into the town and have the Machine King's men, she put all the pieces together. That was absolutely in her wheelhouse. She's a legend with a bow and a formidable warrior, but in times where she has no one else to rely on, she steps up, and the defense is far better off because of it. And this is the thing. They're up against this threat, and at this point in the battle, Meridia knows that she is all but destined to lose the city, but she puts her focus on pulling off a miracle just to save the lives of the thousands and thousands of people who are still caught up. But to talk a little bit further about that, let's get outside the episode where we talk a little bit about director's commentary, kind of notes, inspirations. We kind of jam a little bit more about all the things that are happening and some ideas about this series. So, this episode. And let me know in the comments, first off, as my first note, how you were able to visualize the battle as it proceeded throughout the city. I haven't done that before. We haven't tracked a large-scale battle. And I've discussed on TABTA how I tend to treat combat like I was a sports writer, sort of balancing key stats and highlights with a general clash of styles and narratives, and you can see a little bit of how that comes into play here. The dynamic is you have these Freelanders who are immensely powerful on their own, but they can be outfought by Edaran tactics and Edaran organization. But then you have these kind of large-scale, incredibly powerful gifted who can really change the tide of battle. But yeah, at the same time, it's really easy. It's a little bit easier to wrap your head around two people dueling or a person dueling a monster than it is around fictional armies clashing in a fictional city. So anyway, after all this, I would love to see how that turned out. Let me know how you visualize the battle in your head. More importantly, though, I do like that we get to kind of hang out over the shoulder of Meridia in this first section. She's figuring this out on the fly. She's adapting the tactics that people know with the situation that they're facing, and she's only got split seconds and incomplete data on which to base her decisions. And yet she's doing it. Part of that is the fact that she's incredibly competent, but it's also out of kind of this sense of necessity because there's really nobody else in the city who could do this right now. And it's kind of this not fun, but it's this very interesting situation of now this woman who was rejected and scorned by the high command, same high command who failed them all and doomed them to what might be their certain death. This woman who was cast out by them now has to return and save the city. And you've got these doubts are swirling around in her head. She's trying to build up a mental map of how the battle is proceeding based on columns of smoke and half-accurate reports. But if she doesn't step up, then who will? So as this chapter ends, all along the wall at the shoulder of the firebow, soldiers are getting ready to let loose and open fire. And we've got a lot more to come. This is an epic 4-part chapter. You've got basically going to be listening to this most of the way through August. But are you guys, if you're ready, we can figure out what's going to happen next Friday. And as always, if you want to hear ahead of time what's going on, you can always pop over to our Patreon, get a listen and get ahead. Because we've got some new chapters from Z that are going to be coming down the pipeline very soon as well. Anyway, cheers to you guys. Have a great one. Have a great start to your week. Sending lots of love from a rainy afternoon in Costa Rica. And I will talk to you soon.